Hey everyone, it's Tia from EMP Designs here, and today we're going to be looking at the PX1-RB. In short, the PX1 allows you to record and store two different pixel patterns within its memory. These recordings can then be played back without having to consume any live DMX data. So to start setting up our pixel recorder, we need to connect our 5V pixel strip. This can be 170 RGB pixels or 128 RGBW pixels. When connecting the power cables, it's always important to check they match the labels on the case and that your power supply is set to 5V before use. We also want to make sure that when we're connecting these wires, the gates are in the open position, and once tightened, none of them will come loose. To allow us DMX control for our pixel strip, I'll also connect a male DMX cat adapter to the connector in the top right. Again here, I'm just making sure that the connections made in my adapter are matching up with the ones listed on my case. Once we're done connecting the adapter though, I'll set it aside for once we've completed setting up our device. And that leaves us with a single connector left. These are going to be our two different triggers for our recordings. I'll be using these two small triggers and wire them straight into the connector. There's many different options for different triggers that you can use. I purely chose these for availability. However, we'll also look at how to loop your recordings later in this video by switching out these triggers. So once we've finished wiring up, we can use the test function to check our pixel strip is working. This will flash each channel sequentially and we can see they're working as they should. Once we're happy with that, we can link up our recorder to our computer in order to record some patterns. To do this, I'll be using the SkyCast C. The first step will be to connect our SkyCast, and this will be really simple, just having to press the sync button on the front of the case. We'll see the blue LED next to our sync button begin to flash rapidly, and once we've connected, it will start to blink every few seconds. After our recorder and SkyCast have synced up, we can now communicate to our pixel strip from our computer. The first thing I do is check my in-out mode for my SkyCast is set to ArtNet, and you can find this page following the IP address I typed in. At this stage, you've got a couple choices for software to use. The SkyCast will be able to transmit DMX data as long as it's on either ArtNet or SACN. So once I'd found some patterns that I liked, I began transmitting through my SkyCast to my PX1. At this point, I can now begin to record, and to do this, I have to simultaneously press down the record button and one of my triggers. You'll notice as soon as I hold them down together, the record and data LEDs will rapidly flash, and that will indicate to me that whatever I'm outputting is currently being recorded. Letting go ends the recording and stores that in memory. Next, I swap to a different pattern similar to a wave. I did the exact same process for this recording, but I wanted to make sure I started and finished my recording at the same time to get a perfect loop. I mute my software's output and just check I was happy with that pattern before moving on. And after that, we've now successfully stored two pixel patterns on our device that can be played back without needing any live DMX data to be sent. To prove this, I'll desync my PX1 from my SkyCast by holding down the sync button until the blue LED goes out. I'll also unplug my SkyCast for safe measure, and we can use each trigger to play back their respective recording. I said earlier that we can loop our recordings on repeat, and in order to do this, we have to use a single piece of wire and connect it between the trigger and ground. When I'm changing any sort of connections, I'll always turn off my power supply when doing so. Although this is for safety reasons, I mention this because once I turn on my power supply again, this loop will play indefinitely. Moving on, I'll swap back to my non-looping triggers and connect back to my adapter with the DMX cat. I'll bring in my iPad and use the slider to control all 510 channels. Now we've covered our DMX adapter's function, the last thing we have to go over is how to change our device's starting address. The device is using our one-touch addressing system, and to demonstrate how this works, I'll be syncing my recorder to a radio desk. Looking at our device, our blue LED is on, so we know we've connected successfully, and looking at our pixel strip, we can see we're starting on channel 1 of our desk. So now, coming back to my recorder, I will press and hold the address button until the green LED comes on. Once this LED comes on, that signifies that the starting address will change to the next channel I flash. So as I flash channel 6, you'll briefly see its original position swapping over for the start of the strip. From here on out, our strip will start from channel 6. I'll go over this one more time, holding the address button and then flashing the channel I would like to make my starting address. And so with that, we've shown how to set up the PX1-RB and covered the features included with this device. I hope you've all found this video helpful, and if you have any further questions, you can get in touch with us using the email in the description.